everyone, Maya here from MaiStoryBook, and welcome back to Book a Day with me. During this week, I'm sharing an interactive read aloud every day of the week with the hopes that you can join me on a reading adventure. Also, friends, I want to say happy first day of spring. Today is actually the first day of spring. So spring is a new season, and it's known as the season where the flowers bloom and little baby animals are born, kind of a season of new life and new beginnings. And also, my friends, if you listen closely, you might even hear the new baby birds chirping in the background. That is a for sure sign of springtime. Well, today's featured read aloud for this Book a Day series is Mrs. Bibi's Elephant. And I chose it because it kind of has like a spring-looking cover here with all of the beautiful flowers blooming all over the place. And it kind of matched my flowery dress. Now this read aloud is about an old lady, Mrs. Bibi, who has a pet elephant. But the place where she lives doesn't like pets, and they actually end up driving her away with her elephant. So she's not even allowed to stay there anymore if she keeps her pet elephant. What we're going to learn about in this book is acceptance. So that means accepting people, appreciating and caring for people just for being who they are, and not wanting to separate people for being different. Okay, well, I think we're ready to dive into this reading adventure. Are you ready to begin? Let's get started. So the title of today's Book a Day read aloud is Mrs. Bibi's Elephant, written and illustrated by Reza Dalvand. And so remember, there's only one name on the book. Do you remember what that means? That means that that person is the author and illustrator. They wrote all of the words in the book and they drew all of the pictures we're about to see. And as you can see from the cover, these are some very beautiful pictures. So Mrs. Bibi's Elephant, my friend. Can you spot Mrs. Bibi on this page? She's kind of small. Good eyes. You're right. She is right here actually on the elephant's trunk. And this elephant, Mrs. Bibi's elephant, is actually her pet elephant. My friends, do you have any pets? What kind of pets do you have? And if you don't have any pets, if you could have a pet, what pet would you want? Those sound like cute pets. Well, Mrs. Bibi here has a pet elephant. My friends, would you want a pet elephant? What could you do if you had a pet elephant? Sounds like they could be a pretty good pet. You could hang out on their trunk like Mrs. Bibi here, huh? Well, let's find out what Mrs. Bibi and her elephant are up to in this reading adventure. Are you ready? Let's get started. So here's our title page, Mrs. Bibi's Elephant has the title, and again our author and illustrator Reza Dalvand. And here I see Mrs. Bibi, and my friends, do you notice something about her hair? Take a close look. Do you see it? It kind of looks like the elephant, doesn't it? If you look closely, it's the elephant kind of crouching on her head. It's not really on her head. That was just kind of a clever drawing by the illustrator, huh? Told you it has good pictures. Okay. Mrs. Bibi had a very big pet elephant. Wow, my friends. And if you look at this picture, it kind of shows you a comparison. So comparison means showing you how two things are different or the same. And this comparison is showing us how different in size Mrs. Bibi is to her pet elephant. That is a big elephant, isn't it? Do you know another word for big? What do you think? We might say a giant elephant, a humongous elephant, a huge elephant. Try out those words. Humongous, giant, huge. That's another way to describe this elephant. But every day they went out for a walk together. And what did they go out and do on their walk? What do you notice in the picture? Yeah, it looks like maybe they went out to go grocery shopping. My friends, if you have a pet, do you walk your pet? Or your imaginary pet if you don't have one? I hope so. Maybe if you have like a dog, you usually take dogs on a walk. Sometimes people take their cat. What other pet might you take on a walk? Well, here goes Mrs. Bibi with her pet elephant. In the morning, they played with the children in the street. How fun, my friends. What kinds of things are they playing on the elephant? Yeah, they set up a swing. He's spraying water on them with the trunk and they're climbing up. Maybe they even get to slide down the trunk. It's almost like having a playground. So in the morning, they play with the children in the street. And in the afternoon, they had tea and cake. My friends, do you like to have an afternoon snack? What do you like to eat? I like to have some trail mix for my afternoon snack and some fruit. And at night, Mrs. Bibi told her elephant stories so that he would have nice dreams. Aw, looks like they spend the whole day together and they do some really nice things, huh? Do you read bedtime stories or have someone read stories to you before bed? Yeah? A bedtime story is always a great way to end the day. You should try it out if you haven't yet. Or you can even listen to MaiStoryBook's interactive read-alouds right before bed too as a bedtime story. But the townspeople didn't like Mrs. Bibi's elephant. I wonder why not? If I look at this picture, my friends, do you see what might be a problem with the elephant in the town? Yeah, I see all these cars behind the elephant. Does it look like they're able to drive past him? They thought he was too big and too loud. Well, he is an elephant, and elephants are big and loud. And caused too many traffic jams. I can see that. They didn't understand why anyone would want a pet. They just caused trouble. So that's the townspeople's opinion. My friends, what's your opinion? Do you think pets are good to have, or do you think they're too much trouble? Give me some reasons why. Why do you think that? That's pretty persuasive. Well, the townspeople don't like this elephant at all. I wonder what that means for Mrs. Bibi and her elephant. The townspeople believed that homes should be filled with beautiful objects like chandeliers, these fancy lights that hang from the ceiling, and jewelry. They said that instead of talking to an elephant, Mrs. Bibi should read the newspaper, check the stock market, and keep up to date with economics. So the stock market and economics have to do with money. They think she should be focused on money and jewelry and fancy things instead of talking to her elephant. So it sounds like they think they know what's best for Mrs. Bibi. Do you think Mrs. Bibi should be doing all of those things? And if I take a look at all these townspeople here, though, all with all their fancy jewelry and clothes, how does it look like they feel, though, my friends? Look at their faces. How do they feel? Do they look very happy? Not really, huh? But Mrs. Bibi didn't own any fancy objects, nor was she interested in checking the stock market or reading about economics. So she wasn't really interested in talking about money or having fancy things. She was at her happiest being with her elephant, speaking about the past and laughing. So she doesn't have all those fancy things or talk about money too much. She just has her elephant, but how does she feel? She looks a lot happier than those other people, huh? How do the townspeople feel about that, though? Look how angry they look, huh? Their faces are so mad because I can tell because their eyebrows are all furrowed. They're pointed down like this. Can you show me an angry face with your eyebrows all down? That's how they look. And my friends, look at all these speech bubbles up here. There's just squiggles in them, no words, but what do you think they're saying? Nice things or angry things? Angry things, right? Because if you take a look at their faces, they don't look too happy. And it looks like there's even some signs here with pictures. My friends, what do these signs show? Yeah, there's an elephant crossed out. The townspeople protested for the elephant to leave. So they started marching and shouting and saying, "We want this elephant to go." Sounds like Mrs. Bibi is a little bit different from them, and they don't really like what's different than them. Actually, they were afraid that their children might want pets one day, too. They are worried that their children might grow up and be like Mrs. Bibi and want a pet. And they think that's very wrong. So the town judge ordered that the elephant be taken to the zoo the very next morning. And if I look over here, my friends, how do all these angry people in that decision make Mrs. Bibi and her elephant feel? And what do you think they're going to do? Do you think Mrs. Bibi is going to let them take her elephant to the zoo? If not, then what's going to happen? Well, let's see. Mrs. Bibi was very sad that night. She hugged her elephant and told him stories until he fell asleep. She had to do something to stop them from taking her elephant away. So it sounds like she is going to come up with a plan. I wonder what that plan is, and I hope it works. My friends, what's going on in this picture? Yeah, it looks like the townspeople. I can tell because they've got those angry faces, and it looks like they're looking for something. Do you think they're looking for Mrs. Bibi and her elephant? Is this their house? But if it is, then where's Mrs. Bibi and her elephant? Let's read. The next day, when the townspeople came to Mrs. Bibi's house to take her elephant, there was no one there. So that is why they're looking all over the place. This one's looking in a cup. Are they gonna find anyone there? No, that's silly. They looked all over town, but it was no use. Mrs. Bibi and her gigantic elephant were nowhere to be found. So gigantic is another word for big. Can you say gigantic? Ready? I say, you say gigantic. So that also means big. What a gigantic elephant. So they are nowhere to be found even in town. And my friends, is an elephant very easy to hide? No. So if they're not in town, then where are they, do you think? Wait a minute, my friends. If you take a close look at this picture, do you see a clue as to where they might be? I'll give you a hint. Look out the window. Do you see them? I see. If you look really closely, it looks like there's an elephant and Mrs. Bibi out there. Where are they going? What's the weather like on this page? It's raining, huh? I know that raining sometimes symbolizes or is a way to show in a story that there are some sad or troubled, bad times going on. Well, after Mrs. Bibi and her elephant left, the town wasn't the same. The children stopped playing in the street. Remember those kids who used to play with the elephant? And people stopped smiling. Well, they were already pretty angry, but now they don't even smile. And everyone felt as if something was missing. What is missing, my friends? Mrs. Bibi and her elephant? So even though they didn't even really like Mrs. Bibi and her elephant because they were different, now that they're gone, something feels wrong. Something feels missing. A great sense of longing filled the elephant's place in the children's hearts. So instead of their hearts being filled with happiness by the elephant, now there's just this sense of longing, like they're missing something, they want something. Well, the townspeople didn't know what to do. They realized how much happier the place was when Mrs. Bibi and her elephant was around. So wait, they kind of changed their thinking, right? What did they used to think before? And now what do they think? Now they think the place was actually better and happier with Mrs. Bibi and her elephant around. But do you think it's too late now that Mrs. Bibi's gone? Well, let's see what they do. So, they decided to make a change. My friends, what do you think that change is going to be? Well, I know before at the beginning, the big problem was they didn't like pets, right? They thought that was strange. So if we think about that, what might the change be? Think it might have something to do with pets? My friends, what do you see on this page? I see children with all sorts of animals and pets. The children would get their own pets and bring life back into their town. So that was their new decision. And what kind of pets did they choose? Yeah, there are all kinds of animals, huh? I see wolves, zebras. Do you know what this bird is called, my friends? A crane. Very tall bird, huh? And what are these? Turtles and bunnies and even kind of like a monkey, I think, and a chicken. Some of the children picked dogs and others picked cats and all these other animals. And some even found their own. What animal is this? Elephants. So some even found an elephant like Mrs. Bibi. My friends, if you could have any animal you wanted as a pet, what animal would you pick? Ooh, good choice. I would pick a wolf or maybe even a sea otter would be fun. Then we could go swimming together all the time. Well, it seems like the big change, my friends, was that before the town was like pets are bad and trouble and they're different. But then they realized that differences actually helped make their town better, and now all the children get their own pets. But what about Mrs. Bibi and her elephant? Well, everyone learned that home is more than just a place for fancy objects and economics, fancy objects and money. It's a place for living. A place for those who might even have room for huge elephants in their hearts. Because Mrs. Bibi and her elephant weren't gone. Not really. The end, my friends. Well, hold on. What does that mean? Mrs. Bibi and her elephant. What does that mean? So Mrs. Bibi and her elephant weren't gone. Not really. Well, I'm thinking that Mrs. Bibi and her elephant did leave town. So they actually aren't in the town right now. But the story says they're still there, kind of. Why do you think they say that? They're still kind of there in the town. It's kind of a tough thing to think about, right? Well, it kind of makes me think that even though Mrs. Bibi and her elephant aren't there, their message and their love, remember, having a heart big enough to love huge elephants, and their message that living is caring about more than fancy objects and money and economics, that's what Mrs. Bibi and her elephant left behind. So those things that made them different and special, caring for animals, finding happiness in other things besides money and fancy things, that message is still living in this town. That town now believes those same things. And now that they do, my friends, how do they feel? Well, according to the story, they seem a lot happier. They're not as angry anymore. And the kids, if we go back to the other page, look so much happier, right? There's so much more life and happiness in this town. So accepting that there's different ways to live and different things to care about made them a happier, better town in the end. Okay, well that's the end of this story. So that was the story of Mrs. Bibi and her elephant, my friends. What do you think? Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if not really, or thumbs in the middle if like, it was a medium book. Well, that's your opinion, right? Everyone can think a different thing as long as you also respect and accept other people's opinions too. Meaning that just because someone thinks differently than you doesn't mean that you get angry at them or you push them away, right? Just means that, hey, you have a different thought than me, that's fine. Well, I give this story a thumbs up. I really liked the illustrations and all the details and colors and the way they showed the feelings and emotions on the characters' faces. But I also really liked the message of this story, kind of the lesson that it teaches. My friends, what would you say the lesson of this story is? What does it try to teach you? Yeah, I would say that it tries to teach us again to be open to people who are different, to listen to their ideas, and if they're happy with something, then hey, let them be happy about it, right? It's their decision. But also I learned that fancy things and money don't mean happiness, aren't the most important things in the world. Having a heart big enough to love other people and other animals and creatures and to take care of them, that's what's important also. That's what can make you happy too. So what was your favorite part about this story? Ooh, those are good parts. All right, my friends, well, that brings us to the end of today's Book a Day Read Aloud. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for our last Book a Day of the week. If you enjoy these Book a Day readings, my friends, and would like to see more or a new week of Book a Day Read Alouds, please reach out to me and let me know so I know that I should plan some more. And also, if you have any requests or recommendations, please reach out to me. I know YouTube right now might not be letting you comment, but if you want to find me on Instagram, on the blog, MaiStoryBook, on Facebook, or through my email, all of those social media links can be found down below, and you can reach me there. I love to hear from all of you and always reply back. And of course, to keep up with all of our reading adventures, please hit that subscribe button so that we can continue to go on reading journeys together. Okay, well, until tomorrow, my friends, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy reading.